Hey, welcome to the Dispute Funnel Live workshop. So while Mike, he's part of my team, while he gets the live chat set up and ready to go, I just want to let you know that I've actually invested in Webinar Jam. So before we had issues with webinars and it worked on desktop and laptop, but not on mobile. And there should not be any issues whatsoever. They are top of the line. I love this platform. It's amazing. It's amazeballs, all right? So, all right, Mike is ready to go. So if you have questions related to the content of this live webinar, please post them in the chat and he'll answer them for me, all right? Please don't ask general questions about how to do this and how to do that, because that is not what that's there for. If you have those types of questions, you can go to my consulting site, which it's video consulting. You can find it at SuperPeer, and that's PEER.com/Vargas Revolution. All right. And you'll find the pricing there. Okay, so this is the surefire way to get results with your letters, even if your prior letters haven't worked. And I have so much exciting content for you. All right. As you can see, this is very, very simple. I'm not making it, fireworks and all of that. The content is here. It's very valuable, and that's what I'm delivering to you. All right. So if you would like me to take over your file instead of you doing this, or you would like to outsource, please contact me first, and then you can actually go grab your contract at the link that you see on your screen, as well as the link that you will be able to click on when you get the slides for this. All right. So this is the Dispute Funnel Live Workshop. I'm going to explain to you why it's called this. All right. So if you sent letters to credit bureaus, creditors, or collectors and haven't seen results, or very little, then you're most definitely in the right place. I mean, even if you're a beginner and don't know where to start, you'll get a solid foundation and understanding to implement with your own letters. And I'm talking about like today, right now. All right. So we're going to look at the pot of gold. And now these might have funny names, but you'll get what I'm talking about. So first of all, let me tell you, that I appreciate you joining me here live today. And as a little bonus, I'm actually going to give you access to my brand new letter framework launching in about a week. And that is only for those who attended live. So my webinar did max out. I only wanted 100 people max here, and it maxed out. So for every single person that is here with me right now live, thank you so much for trusting in me and supporting me. Obviously, I am a creator and I create content, and I hope that it's valuable to you. So as a thank you, I am, like I said, giving you access to my brand new launch. Nobody else knows about this. You are literally hearing it for the first time from me right now. So you will be receiving follow-up emails from me, and one of them is going to have the access link. All right. So I'm not releasing it to anybody else until after you've received your bonus access. Okay. So let's get going. Now, Mike, you still good over there? All right. All right. So this is actually going to help you create your disputes in a simple but super effective way without all the, extra crap that you don't need. So it'll help you train your brain to use the factual based dispute method to get results. And if you want a copy of both presentations, now when I made this slide, I was actually going to have a separate presentation, but I condense them. So if you want a copy of this presentation, please stick around until the end, and I'll let you know how to get your very own copy. All right. So please don't worry about trying to take extensive notes or anything. I'll show you how to get the copy. It's actually going to show up as a call to action at the end of the workshop. So you need to stick around to actually get a copy of this. All right. So the sneaky and ethical, that's important, ethical way to massively increase your chances of getting deletions or corrections in your favor. All right. So that's the entire purpose behind this, right? That we don't want to leave anything up to chance. If we leave it up to chance, what's going to happen is that the bureaus or the creditors or the collectors are going to do something sneaky, or they're going to do something, just to screw up the entire process. And it's going to add time. And time is the one thing that we can't control, right? I mean, this is like a little side note, but like time is just a thing that, I'm sorry, that's a notification on my computer, but time is just a thing that like some dude one day woke up and he was just like, hey, I'll see you at supper time. And the other guy was like, what are you talking about? What, whose time? And, he pulled out his little doohickey and drew something in the sand with his like doohickey. And he was like, well, when the sun gets here, it's, time to eat. And, he was like, oh, I still don't understand what time is, but, whatever, dude. So there's no way to control time. And I apologize that my computer is once again going off. But anyways, there's no way to control time. And the one thing that we can control is our actions, right? So if we are able to do something to increase or decrease the amount of time that something takes, then that does give us a little bit of control over this, right? So that's the entire purpose. So my promise to you is that you're going to get a step-by-step strategy for identifying, prioritizing, and utilizing the most potent types of disputes like a pro, obviously without actually having to be a pro yourself. All right, and I have some cool secrets for you, plus some very surprising strategies that you need to know about. Okay, so obviously you know who I am. I'm Kristen Vargas. I am the founder of Vargas Revolution, and that does include Expert Credit Suite, Vargas Consulting, and the Vegas Movement, and a couple of others. I was awarded Best Debt Relief Services 2016, 2017, 2018, and 2019. Yes, thank you very much. And just in 2019 alone, I was able to get over 8,000 deletions and corrections for my clients. And over the past 16 years, it's a long time. I feel like mad old right now. Over the past 16 years, I've actually mentored and advised over 5,000 discerning credit repair do-it-yourselfers who wanted the very best credit, but didn't want to get cheated in the process, right? So here's why this training is important. And let me just make sure that Mike is actually signaling to me. So gotta love live, right? All right. I'm just making sure that the chat's working. It's one of the benefits of having the Q&A is obviously being able to use it, right? So here's why this training is important. I've helped thousands, like literally thousands of people increase their credit scores using these methods. And I normally only share this info with the members of the tribe. Now, if you don't know what the tribe is, it's because I really don't advertise it. My target market normally cannot afford it. It's for people that want to know everything that I have to offer and, get access to me. And it is an annual plan, annual membership, and it is the highest level I offer. It is called the tribe. All right. So this is an easy system for boosting your chances of getting virtually any negative item removed from your credit report without the price tag or hassle. All right. So and it seems like I kind of went backwards. I accidentally hit my mouse. So let's go find. There we go. Here we are. All right, we're on number 13. So I'm going to be sharing with you 3 secrets about creating a solid foundation the bureaus cannot shake that are actionable today before you see how to implement them on a dispute letter. So obviously we're doing this this way because you need to understand it first before seeing it, because otherwise it's just going to be like, oh, well, isn't it the factual based dispute process? Yes, it is, but you have to understand this, okay? So the first secret to creating an unshakable foundation is understanding the purpose of your dispute letter. Now, yeah, that sounds really simple, but I promise you it's not. So you need to understand the foundation. So let's talk more about the first secret, like I said, which is the purpose. The reason we're doing this, all right, the reason we're doing this is to vastly increase the chances that we're going to get our score increases with deletions and corrections. So the purpose of the letter is to use the process of elimination to ensure it sets the follow-up, which I'm going to show you in the dispute funnel. So if you're using templates, and I'm sure there's a whole handful of you or more that are in love with templates, and I'm going to tell you, you are not doing the right thing. So if you're using templates, that's not possible. All right. If you look at a template versus a factual based dispute letter, you're going to notice that the main intent And we're talking about the templates. The main intent is in the body of the letter, not the disputed items. Now, with the FBD, the factual based disputes, you're going to notice that the body of the letter is completely irrelevant and the focus is the disputed items. So it's the total opposite, right? And if you're familiar with the justice system, you're going to know the difference between a motion, such as motion to dismiss, and case law, such as Cushman versus TransUnion from 1997, right? And I mean, you can't include everything you need in a template because templates are like motions, right? Motion to dismiss. They're not for the entire case. And this is where people get us screwed up. I totally get this totally upside down. Now, tell me, with a collection, a charge off, a bankruptcy, and a couple other items, how is your one template that uses one law going to remove all those? If they're totally different, they're different situations. Templates are for specific situations, right? In court, if you put a motion where it doesn't belong or file it when it shouldn't have been, the entire case gets dismissed. This is no different. Now, on the other hand, case law is for the entire case and can be used with multiple negative items, right? We use the elements and the language that embodies the law that we're indirectly citing. So what that means is that when I use a factual-based dispute, I know for a fact that there's a law specifically for that item, right? I'm going to use this law because it's going to support my deletion. I'm not just going to point out stupid, irrelevant inaccuracies like, oh, this term and this account type and blah, blah, blah. They're inaccurate. Besides the general 100% accuracy required, there's nothing that states that, this is a violation, it needs to be removed, or this shouldn't be, reported like this because of blah, blah, blah. And it's, directly out of the FCRA, the FDCPA. If you can't, specifically find something that says that, oh, well, this is wrong, and so therefore, according to the FCRA, has to be removed, then it's something that you should not be using. So that's what I'm saying. Right. So I'm not saying pursuant to section, 603, I didn't provide my permission for this bankruptcy to report and it needs to be removed. No, I'm not going to say that, but I know that there's a law. It's kind of like if you go and you are, you're in court and you didn't hire an attorney, you're there pro se, and you don't know all the damn laws, right? You're just defending yourself because you can't hire an attorney. You can't afford one, and you don't want a public defender because they're public pretenders, right? So you're going to use the elements in the language that embodies the law that you're indirectly citing, and the judge is going to say, oh, okay, so are you referring to, CPO 140.276, reckless endangerment, third degree? And he's going to say, yeah, that's the one that I'm, indirectly citing, right? So it's the same thing, okay? There's no difference between using dispute letters incorrectly and submitting the wrong court document because the result is the same. Your case actually gets dismissed because you did it wrong, okay? So we're actually going to use the process of elimination here. So now I'm not talking about with math or whatever. So secret number 2 is very simply, like I just said, process of elimination to solidify your dispute foundation. So first you need to understand that the dispute letter should be simple and to the point. We don't need anything like extra, like laws or additional explanations. And if you know me, you know what I'm talking about. I hate templates, and that's all that a template is extra crap that makes absolutely no sense to even be in that damn letter, okay? We want to set the follow-up and predict how we're going to dispute on the next round. And this is going to increase our chances of getting our results, right? We do this by including every single response that would warrant a rejection or a stall tactic by the bureaus. And we're going to go over it right now. So this is the process of elimination. Let's go back to this one. Okay, process of elimination. We have 8 elements for elimination. Number 1, no identification. It has to be qualified identification. There's so many times that people are like, oh my God, I didn't get my deletion for X account or Y account or whatever it is, right? And I'm like, well, okay, so did you, was it a template? Yeah, it was a template. Okay, well, there's a reason right there. Did you send your identification? Well, I mean, I sent it like 3 rounds ago. No, dude, it needs to go out on every single round. Every single round they require This is directly off their website. You don't have to take my word for it. Go do your own damn, research. Okay. Google this shit. All right. It is ID, SSN proof, social security number proof, and proof of address. All right. Utility bill, cell phone bill, pay stub, W-2, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Even voter's registration. You have to have proof of address. It cannot be just your ID and your social. It literally has to be 3 qualifying documents dated within the last 90 days. Obviously not your ID or your social, but cannot be expired. Utility bill or whatever has to be within the last 90 days, and they do not want credit card statements. So that's what I'm saying. Now, there's 2 elements to it. Number 1, qualifying identification, and number 2, you want to make sure that they can't come back and say, we did not receive your identification, because trust me, they will. They've got an entire list of a bunch of stuff that they can say, and it's just going to, dismiss your case, right? Just like I was mentioning, right? So you don't want to, and this is the entire point of this, you don't want to give them any reason that they can come back and say anything. So if possible, on page 2 of your letter, let's just say that your, thanks, please expedite, your name is at the top of page 2. If you can fit your identification on page 2 with the end of your letter, do it. All right, because that very simply means that you obviously sent it all together and they didn't get it, and send it double-sided. So you're going to tell me you got page 1 but you didn't get page 2 that had my identification? No, dude, it was on the back of it. Okay. New information or disputed too soon. Now what this means is, when I say new information, is that normally they have 30 days per investigation. Right. So if you submit something at, I don't know, 23 days, they're going to say, oh, well, we have an additional 15 days, blah, 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 blah. Or, very simply put, you disputed too soon. All right. We don't understand the nature of your dispute. So that's like a whole webinar right there. Okay. Don't understand the nature of your dispute. You need to be very, very clear about what you are saying. All right. You need to be very clear so that they can understand. When I say they, I'm talking about the damn computers, okay? It's artificial intelligence. It needs to be able to understand what the heck you're saying. So one of the ways that you can actually do this, and I was going to put out a video about this, but I didn't want to confuse anybody. If you can go and find, and I do have a copy of it, I might share it. Don't hold me to that. But if you find the codes, not the actual codes themselves, because they're absolutely worthless to us, but the descriptions, if you can put your dispute reason wording either similar to or very like, however you want to call it, to the actual description of the dispute reason for deletion, your chances of actually getting that deletion or correction drastically increases. They have to understand what the hell you're saying. All right. Template was used, or we received this information before. If you know me, I don't have to explain this one. Duplicate dispute. You can't be submitting the same crap over and over and over again. That's like a perfect way to get, disqualified. Basically, your case has been dismissed. Fraud. What I'm saying by fraud is, we don't believe you. We don't believe you're a victim of, fraud. We don't believe that you don't know what this account is. We don't believe that you don't owe $20,000. We don't believe that blah, blah, blah. Submitted by a credit repair organization. Now, if you don't understand why I'm saying this one, you're going to want to go look up. It is not illegal for a credit repair organization to submit a letter on your behalf, but the bureaus don't have to do anything about it. The creditors don't have to even respond. So there's little things that you need to know, okay? And then stall tactics. We already talked about no identification, new info or disputed too soon, don't understand the nature of your dispute, template used, or we've received this information or letter before, and we will not investigate. Those are all stall tactics or scare tactics. When I say we will not investigate, what I'm talking about is Experian actually has a beautiful little template they send out, and it's designed to stop you in your tracks. It's designed so that you will actually stop disputing, because you have to remember that they make money off this, dude. They make money off of this, dude. All right. And no, I'm not assuming that you're a guy. I'm just, that's just the way that I talk. What that means is that unless you submit new or relevant information directly from the court or the creditor, or like I said, that you actually have new relevant information, they will not do another investigation. Now, is it legal? According to congressional opinion, no, it is not. But how do you get around that? How do you get around them saying, hey, you're at the end of the road, buddy? It's very simple. New and relevant information is a new dispute reason. So, all right, sorry about that. I just got a audio alert from Webinar Jam. Had to go fix that. Just had to click a button, but still, that's why I paused for a second. All right, so process of elimination. So if we create a checklist, each of the boxes should be checked off so that the only responses that you could possibly receive are verified as accurate, updated by creditor, which doesn't mean anything, and no response, and deleted or corrected, right? So the only ones that we're looking at are verified and no response. So this is how we're actually setting the follow-up. So once we create our dispute letter, we'll ensure that it actually includes all the required elements and that it meets the formula and passes the checklist, right? And I'm going to show you a very simple dispute funnel to use to understand how this works, all right? So the end result is the set the follow-up tactic. You'll be able to set the framework for the next round of disputes, which means that the only thing you need to do when you receive your updated report, if it's not removed, obviously, is change the information or the data, the variables, to complete your dispute reasons, right? So let me go to the next one. All right, so the purpose of doing this is to achieve your desired credit score or deletions or corrections as fast as possible so that you can move on with your life, obviously, right? And the best way to do this is by being proactive and prepared. So if we leave this all up to chance, just like I said, the wrong dispute may go up, the wrong reason may cause the bureaus to block you from disputing, and you'll end up increasing your total duration simply because you didn't know that there was another way, or you ignored it because you thought that your way was better. It's not. All right. So secret number one, understanding that you need to use factual based disputes. Number two, laying the foundation to create your case and creating the setup follow-up checklist. And number three is the dispute funnel. All right. So now that you understand that part, we're actually going to look at the dispute funnel. And like I said, it's very, very simple. But when I send out access or invite links, I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, but when I send it out to my brand new launch, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So the dispute funnel is quite simple to understand because, it's effective because we've already ensured only 2 actionable responses by the bureaus, verified and no response. Because remember, when we create our rounds, before it ever goes out the door, we're ensuring that our identification meets the requirements, that they can't say they don't understand the nature of the dispute, that blah blah blah, right? So we accomplish this either just by digitally logging or filing using funnel software, which, like I said, I got you on this if you're here with me right now, stay till the end, or manually creating it. And I will know if you actually stayed to the end and if your browser was active. So please remember that. All right. If you just have this up and your browser is not active, I will not be sending you access. And if you didn't stay to the end, you will not be getting access. So our funnel will look like something like this. Round 1 to the checklist, process completed and approved. It'll go to set follow-up, and set follow-up to round 2A, verified, and set follow-up to round 2B, no response. Okay, so explaining it sounds much more complicated than reading it, as you can see. So all this means is that you write out round 1 and it goes through your checklist. right? So you're like, yes, I did this. Yes, I did that. No, I didn't do that. Yes, I did this. Okay, perfect. My checklist is completed. Now you've set the follow-up so that you only can get 2 responses. Number 1, which is round 2A, is going to be verified, or round 2B, no response, right? So this means that we can plug in the new variable data, such as balances and dates, to the dispute reasons that we've already set up, either using the hierarchy or the evolution line method. And if you want to register for that, if you haven't done so, that one is free, and the link is right there on Webinar Jam. All right, so this is all very, very simple, and we're actually going to go create disputes right now. But this is what I'm talking about. It's so, so simple. But if you don't understand the foundation, you don't understand factual based disputes, you don't understand how to use this, then it's going to either be A, worthless to you, or B, you're not going to get anywhere with it because you didn't lay down the foundation or use the checklist to set the follow-up. So what this means is that I can write out round 1 and round 2 at the same time, but I've only sent out round 1, right? So I do round 1, I go through my checklist, everything meets it, and I know that using the data available to me currently on my credit report when I'm writing round 1 and round 2, that I'm starting with date last active, just as an example, and that my next best dispute reason is going to be date last paid, or that there's a monthly payment on, a charge off, or that there's activity after the close date, whatever it is. Let's just say it's date last active. So round 1 is date last active. So I'm going to write round 2 already for date last paid, right? So when I get my new credit report, I'm going to ensure that that is still my best, biggest ammo. And if it's not, I'm going to change that data, either balances or dates or whatever, or to a different dispute reason entirely if the information has changed, to set the follow-up, right? Because I either want to receive A, verified, which I don't want to receive, or B, no response. I don't want to receive anything else. No stall tactics, no scare tactics, no updated by creditor, no blah, 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 no, this, that, and the third. And this is the way that you do it, all right? So I'm going to put this next one up here, and we are just going to get rid of this for right now. All right, so we have credit report number 1. All right, we've got 3 of them. And I've actually taken these from the beginner's guide. And if you actually have the beginner's guide, the instructions are very simply to take it from your download and put it into Chrome and use the magnifying glass. It's going to look like this when you actually put it into your browser. All you have to do is click on it once, and it's going to pull up full, right? So let's go and start creating our disputes, and we're going to ensure that the information that we are using meets the checklist as well as biggest ammo and everything else, and that we're going to set the follow-up. All right, so let's just put in some dummy data here. We're doing Bob Dole, and Bob Dole was born 6/7/1963. And I'm typing with my mic in front of me, so I apologize if I'm typing a little bit slow. He's at 123 ABC Street in City, State, Zip, and we have his social. Okay. So now I am actually going to use the time machine to input Experian's address. And you can actually, if you have the time machine, which I know some of you do based on who I saw is actually registered here with me right now, you can use the time machine to create a dispute funnel. All right, if you have questions about that, please don't post them here in the chat with Mike, but actually send me a direct email and I will give you some instruction on that. But it's actually pretty simple. If you've been using the time machine, you actually know how to do that already. Just being told that you can. All right, so I already know, because I know these credit reports, that there is a mix of negative items on here, right? So my body is going to be very, very, very simple. Remember, the body is irrelevant. If you go and you look at my last video on the letter submission new YouTube series, you're going to see that I said a one-liner was actually perfect. It was just like, hey, you know, you need to investigate these negative items or this information. And that was it. It was perfect. I loved it. It was beautiful because the rest of the letter was the dispute reasons. So you have to remember that the more you say, the higher the chance that you're going to have some sort of rejection or issue. Okay. So we're very simply going to say, you can just follow along with the screen because I'm not going to read out this entire thing. Very simply put, I told them why I'm disputing. I told them, you know, I put some sort of humanistic type of sentence in there like, hey, you know, I know we're in the middle of a pandemic, but you have a specific amount of time to get back to me. And I'd appreciate it if you expedite as much as possible because we're giving a justifier. There's a job that I'm trying to get, and these are really hurting my credit score. All right. Very, very simple. So let's go and we are going to find the first negative item. All right. Now, I don't believe that there were any up here besides this one. Oh, there's one right there. Okay. So we're actually starting with Omni. I don't have account numbers because I actually extracted personal confidential information. All right. So the oldest late payment is actually going to be, this person is consistently late. We are actually going to go back to May 2016. And this is all that really is on here. Now, this is an older credit report. I actually removed this account by disputing the oldest late payment. So that's why we were actually starting with this. It took one round to get this off. And this is actually a very, very difficult account to remove. So May 2016 is the oldest late payment. Now, let me just pause right there and explain why. So the oldest late payment is a great way to remove charge-offs, right? Let's just say that May 2016 on a charge-off for this account, blah, blah, blah. I'm, you know, instead of going after date last active, date last paid, blah, 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 sometimes you're only presented with specific information, and sometimes that information is only the payment history, right? So if you're trying to remove negative data such as late payments from an open account or from an otherwise positive account, you are just going to try to get them to remove the late payments if it's less than 5 late payments consecutively. Obviously, this is a lot of information, consecutive late payments, there's way too many, and the entire account has to be removed. So you can either say, I was not late on this date, remove that account, or I was not late on this date, remove these late payments and update to paid as agreed. So because we are removing this entire account, I'm actually going to say, I was not late on May 2016. This account is inaccurate and it needs to be removed. You see how simple that was and my reasoning behind it? All right, so here is the next one. And this is actually child support. I do not dispute child support, but for the purposes of this, we are going to dispute it. All right, so on this one, we only have a couple late payments. So if there were not, if this were not, excuse me, child support, then I would have disputed this as September 2018, if I could spell September correctly, 2018 was paid is update this account paid as agreed, never late, and remove these. And I remember I'm saying these, not this, even though I'm only disputing one, inaccurate late payments. Excuse me. Okay, let's go find another one. All right, we have credit accept. I'm not going to bother capitalizing these. So we affected by natural disaster, 53.07. All right, so we're going to say still February 2020. Actually, we're not going to do that. For this one, we're going to say had an agreement with this creditor prior to being late, and I'm just going to use one. This late payment for January 2020 should not be reported. Please remove these lates and update to paid as agreed, never late or inaccuracy. All right, so as you can see, this one has a ton of 120 days late. So we are going to dispute this using the date last active. As you can see, we have 9/18, 9/18, and 7/18. Actually, that may not be the best one. We have a monthly payment of $183 in a closed account. So that's what we're going to use. Very simple. Remove it because there's a monthly payment of $183 on this closed account, right? Super simple. Now, the only thing the bureaus can come back and do is say that it's verified or remove it. They're not going to update it. They've probably only done that a couple of times in all the years that I've been doing this. So I am setting myself up to use the payment history on the next one. So is this starting to make sense? Say yes, say no. Let's go and find our next one. All right, here we go. USA. Okay, so date last active, we have 9/19 and 7/2016. So that is our best reason. The next one would be date last paid and then payment history. So we are setting the follow-up on that. I can actually write 3 different rounds of disputes. Actually, that is not the best one. My bad. The high balance says 11,885, but the balance says 24,679. That is the best dispute reason. Now, could be a violation, but I'm just going to state that that is an inaccuracy because I'm not sure if it's a violation per se. All right, so Pentagon. Date last active is only different on 2 bureaus. So we're actually going to go after the activity in the payment history. Okay, so does that make sense that you can't have activity after the account was closed? I don't really think I need to explain that one, but after that, I would go date less active and then date less paid. All right, so on this one, it is, let's check out date less active. We are looking at 2/18, 3/18, and 7/17. I would follow that up with date less paid, which is off by a couple of months. Actually, no, I take that back. I retract that statement. It would actually have to be date less active, then payment history. All right, so that's round one and round two, unless there's no notice of dispute or something like that. All right, Santander. We're going to go after 7/19, 7/19, and 10/20/18. We also have different high balances. See, this is one where I actually want to go after the oldest late payment, which for this account is going to be May 2018. And I'd probably follow that up with missing required notice of dispute if that is so, and if it is not, I would then go to either June 2018 or date less active. All right, LVNV. We have a high balance. We have no other data, so I'm gonna have to go after a date less active because I know that that's not correct. You know what? I think I'm gonna give you guys a copy of the letters as well. All right, on this one, two different date less active, one date less paid. This is U.S. Department of Education, so they are very difficult to remove. High balance is higher than the balance, so let's go after that. And then I would go payment history. And 2018. All right, this one's going to be date last active, and then it's going to be payment history. If it's spelled correctly. What was the other date? 12/2017. Okay, I'm not sure if I said this before, and maybe Mike can tell me, but if yeah, okay. I'm going to give you guys copies of this letter or letters as well as these three credit reports. I do have permission from these clients to provide these in training, so don't worry about that. All right, so on this one, we have 117, we have a bunch of different late payments. Let's go after the late payment history because that's all over the place. All right, what creditor is this? This is credit one. It's reported by 3 bureaus. Yeah. All right, we're going to skip LVNV because we already did that one. Excuse me. And TXU, they're actually really difficult to get off. Let's go after date less active. All right, let's see what we have on this credit report. So I'm going to go and create a new letter. Let's keep the same one. I'm actually not going to do all three. I'm going to give you all three, but I'm not going to do all three. All right, what do we have going on? And I might not even go through this entire thing because I know that you guys are understanding how this works. We first find the biggest ammo, and then we look for the next best thing that's going to remove the account. And we're setting up for the follow-up. This one's just a late payment, so I would obviously say I wasn't late on January 2020. Wait, is this the one that I did? Let's go for this one. Oh, my bad. Okay, so let's look for something else. This is not valid. All right, mobile loans. We only have one thing, so we are actually going to say, all right, we are going to, I guess very simply, that the date last active is incorrect. I would then more than likely follow it up with notice of dispute because I know that they never enter it on here. GM Financial, we are going to go after notice of dispute, excuse me, date last active. this is a regular collection. So we're using the VOD process on this. I would actually dispute directly with Asset Care first if I had an address, which I know I do on this one, and then I would go and dispute it as unknown with the bureaus. So let's just pretend that this is round 2. We're going to say Asset Care. Same thing for the rest of them. Portfolio is disputed just like the other one. This is going to be shorten that one because you obviously know how that works. ARS would be disputed the same as Asset Care. Now, this one's important, and we're actually only going to do 2 of these because I know that you're getting the point. It says original creditor, nobody, right? So one of the things is that if an account can possibly be inaccurate, there must be a creditor name and an address for the consumer to dispute the account. If it is not, under Section 623, the account must be deleted. There's no creditor name and there's no address because they don't know who it is. This is a violation. And I just put that there for your reference, all right? So we're actually not going to go to the other one. It's more of the same thing that you are obviously just looking for, the best dispute reason. Then you're setting up the follow-up. You are doing your checklist, and this is going to set it up so that you can use your dispute funnel correctly to get your inaccuracies. Now, while this is a shortened version, what I've just shown you is the exact system that I teach in the tribe, which I told you is my highest level coaching program. And every single one of my members are actually getting great results because they've implemented what I've taught them, right? So right now, let's just recap everything you've discovered today. First, we talked about using the right dispute type to lay the foundation. Then we went over how to use the process of elimination to create the follow-up tactic. Lastly, we went over how to implement it in the dispute funnel. Each of these steps are to ensure the maximum result no matter what you're disputing. So let me ask you, I know that we had limited time together, and given the time that we did have, did we do a good job today of giving you the information, even if you left this room right now, that you could use to get better results with your dispute letters? Let me know in the chat by saying yes or no. And I hope nobody says no. Michael, let me know. All right, so I'm actually going to send you some super awesome emails on how to implement all of this into your own letter process. So make sure that you get that you set up a Gmail or whatever else that you use filter to save all my emails, and they'll be coming from Kristen at expertcreditsweeps.com in a folder so that you don't miss any of them. And you can access the bonus handouts when they appear here at the end of this. And considering that you've made it this far, and know that you're actually going to get great results. So Mike is actually putting these into the system right now so that he can make them appear for you. Give that a couple of minutes, but once that occurs, the handout will show up so that you can access these. Like I said, the 3 credit reports, the slides, and the 2 letters that we created together. All right. Lastly, like I said, you'll be getting follow-up emails. You'll get access to my new launch before anyone else even knows about it. And I just want to mention as a side note that regardless of new laws that impact credit repair investigations, generally speaking, as long as the FCRA and Metro 2 state that inaccuracies do not belong in your credit report, these strategies will continue to work until your rights have been abolished. All right. So thank you so much for joining me. I invite you to stay up to date with the do-it-yourself offers in the Revolution store, and you can access those by clicking on this link right here, all right? And I don't know if Mike has set it up for a redirect to that page. I'm not sure, but like I said, you're gonna get access to all of these. My coming launch, if you stayed till the end, and he actually did set it up so that you should have already had access to the handout. Let me know if you have any questions. He's going to answer them for me. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for staying with me. And just thank you for your support. You are the reason that I do this. And yeah, so if you have any, what's the word that I'm looking for? If you have any video or YouTube video requests or webinar requests, let me know. Send me an email to Kristen@expertcreditsweeps.com, or you can post it in the events questions site and let me know, or on the app, and I'll see what I can do about it. And if there's anybody else that would actually like it. All right. So I will see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me live, and have a great one. All right. Mike, are you done with the, yeah. Okay. All right. Mike is done with the chat. I'm going to stop this now. All right. So have a wonderful day. I'm going to be sending this stuff out as soon as possible to you about the